Well, it's late. Can we continue this another time?
Can we continue this another time? He's gonna be dead tomorrow. Let's be honest here. That's how it always goes. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to
The Monster.
episode 11 this time. Previously, in episode 10, we were introduced to a, how do I say this politely? A douchebag. First name douche, last name bag. That's right. I don't like him. I just don't like his character. He seems like a douchebag. Constantly talking, never shuts up. A bag of douche. We've also found out that Johan is seemingly very, aware that Tenma is chasing him and leaving messages for him and like... Anyway, we'll jump right into episode 11 and, see how it goes, shall we?
Well, you certainly have found an excellent piece of property. It's only a 20-minute drive to the center of Berlin, perfectly situated in a convenient and lovely neighborhood.
East Berlin.
It's rare to find a unique property of such caliber, especially on the east side.
I can only imagine. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't this the residence of Mr. Liebert, the former head of commerce of East Germany?
What? You're not a buyer? You just came to investigate Mr. Liebert? Is that all?
Please forgive me, but I just need some information.
I don't know anything about an official who died almost 10 years ago. The owner of this property is overseas. Besides, my company is a West Side real estate firm that entered the Eastern market after the wall fell. We don't know anything about the past. Now, if you could please hurry and leave, I'm locking up. An ex-official from the East German Department of Commerce lives about 10 houses away.
Yeah, I remember Mr. Liebert. I'll never understand why he decided to take such a risk.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Tenma is going around trying to investigate. Find really anything that ties to Johan.
If only he'd waited just a little longer until East Germany collapsed. It makes you wonder why he went to a free country only to be killed in the end. It's a damn shame, really.
Do you remember if Mr. Liebert had children? Twins, perhaps?
Did he have twins, you say? Oh, yes, that's right. Mr. Liebert adopted those twins from the orphanage.
Are you sure?
That's right, those two
Oh,
were
okay. So, I think Nina had said that they were like their uncles and aunts or whatnot, but I guess that's just what they kind of call them. You know, in Japanese it would probably be like oji-san, you know? So that's kind of what it translates to, so they weren't actually related, just adopted, okay?
Such cute kids. Mr. Liebert always did talk about wanting children.
Which orphanage was it?
Which one was it? 511? Yes, that's right. I believe they came from 511 Kinderheim.
What's in a bag? And I'm guessing it is abandoned. I mean, I have to, right? Kinderheim, 511.
They're planning on turning this old orphanage into a supermarket sometime soon. About time. Thank goodness they're finally going to destroy this creepy building.
Excuse me, ma'am. By any chance...
What's in
do you
the
know anyone
bag?
From this place?
The orphanage? Everyone from there is long since gone. I really prefer not to talk about it. It was such a tragedy.
But I...
If you want to find out more about it, there's a former official from the old Ministry of Welfare named Hartmann over on 47th Street.
How the fuck does this random woman know this? And it's funny how she just walks past some random guy Yeah, granted, he's looking at the building, but like, oh, it's such a shame what happened in this building. You know, as I'm walking past this random guy, oh, it's such a shame what happened. Oh, you know, I'm glad that they're tearing down this old creepy building. I'm just talking to myself here. Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if Johan paid the old lady to tell him this. Come on. Probably not, but like, I wouldn't be surprised.
Hello there. Do you know if a man named Hartman lives around here?
Hartman?
Wait, what's wrong? You're
Don't
injured?
don't
Let me
follow.
take a look.
Don't. Oh
Don't
my
be
god.
afraid. I'm not gonna hurt you. You re-injured an old wound.
Ah,
It's
that's what's in the bag. Bunch of medical tools.
infected, but this should help. Attaboy. I know this stings, but it'll help you get better. There you go, all done. Be careful, okay? You might get hurt again. Hartman.
God, that's creepy.
After the fall of East Germany, I became the foster parent to all those kids you see photographed up on the wall.
Foster parent?
Yes, well, it just means that I took care of them until they were adopted or eventually able to go off on their own. The boy in the middle was adopted by the president of an accessories company, and the last one on the left is enlisted in the army. I still have one left in my care right now.
It must be hard work for you.
To tell the truth, I wouldn't call it work. As the district official for the Ministry of Welfare, I worked for many years dealing with orphans, and I was adamantly against the way the government handled them. Of course, it isn't easy, and I don't have many resources. But it's far better than the way they were living in that orphanage, if you can call it that. The Ministry of the Interior and the Ministry of Welfare ran 511 Kinderheim as a special orphanage. It wasn't just an institution for children with nowhere to go. It was the place where children of criminals and political prisoners or suspected dissidents were sent.
Interesting.
Discrimination and inhumane cruelty were part of everyday life for the children there. Those poor unfortunates were defenseless and couldn't do anything about their situation. Ironically, it was a contradictory clash between socialism and totalitarianism. The government claimed they were re-educating them to be good citizens, but
Re-educating them? I mean, they're children. I don't think you have to re-educate them. You just have to educate them. But yeah, very interesting how this, I mean, it makes sense why the old lady called it creepy. It's basically an orphanage of children by criminals and shit, where they would do all kinds of inhumane stuff to them. I mean,
in actuality, behind closed doors and away from the public eye, those helpless children were treated like criminals, even worse than criminals. The direct...
I mean, how do you treat them worse than criminals? I mean, you can definitely see the whole treating a criminal's child as if they are that criminal. I mean, that's what's even happening today, where, you know, racism and everything. Honestly, I personally don't believe there is any racism today. The only racism that exists today is based off of experience. So like if you have some sort of bad experience with someone of a certain minority group or something, you are gonna be very wary and cautious when dealing with people from that minority group, right? Just, it's experience. But people obviously attribute that to, oh, you're racist towards us because your ancestors hundreds of years ago were slavers and slaved our people. It's like, we are not our ancestors. We are not our parents. Same thing goes to criminals. Just because your parents were criminals doesn't mean that the child is. And so obviously if you treat them like criminals, or children of criminals, then they're gonna probably turn out very bad. I'm just saying. I think it's very obvious and easy to say that they are going to turn bad. If you treat them bad, they are going to treat you bad in return. And same thing goes for, like, sex workers, right? Yes, you're gonna get bullied if your parents are like sex workers, but that's kind of the hand that you're dealt. But again, I wouldn't I wouldn't call a child a sex worker just because their parents are one, you know? It doesn't make sense.
And instructors were absolutely terrible. The worst of the bunch would confiscate care packages sent to the children and sell them for their own profit. Who then were the real criminals, I ask you? Fear and violence ruled the daily lives of those poor children in those special orphanages. You can't raise normal people that way. And then one day, that incident happened.
Incident? What
Incident?
exactly do you mean by that?
Well, when you came here, you said that you wanted to ask me about the twins, didn't you?
Yes, that's right. Can you tell me anything at all about them?
I don't know much about the girl, except that she was left at an orphanage in a different district. But the boy, I'll always remember the brother, Johan.
Johan? Yes, please, tell me whatever there is to know.
The East German government placed a strict gag order on it. Well, it is in the past now, so I suppose it's all right. I guess there's no harm in talking to you about the incident.
Sir, what are you talking about? I need to know.
What did Johan do?
What Johan do?
That's what I said.
He led an uprising.
I'm home.
Dieter, we have company. Come here and say hello to him.
Dude, you better continue this conversation. I was gonna say, like, oh my god, they're getting interrupted again. Every single time when they're about to reveal something good, it's like, they get interrupted by someone. Every single time. Uprising. I'm guessing what? Like, Johan convinced the other children to kill maybe the caretakers of the orphanage? Or something like that? And then the children killed the orphanage caretakers, and then it was shut down? Or something?
Dieter, where are your manners? Well, are you going to greet the man or not?
Oh, it's okay. We already met earlier out in front of the building. Remember? Please, continue, Mr. Hartmann. I'd like to hear more.
No, I'm sorry, I can't. Not in front of the child.
Understood.
Tell the kid to piss off, to go play outside. Continue the conversation, this is important. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it when they do this. I get so much of this in my Trails of Cold Steel playthrough. Every time they're about to reveal some important information, it's like, nope. Someone either interrupts, or something blows up and interrupts, or some fireworks start exploding and interrupts. There's always someone interrupting, something interrupting, God interrupting. They just can't let me have good information.
Oh, it's late. Can we continue this another time?
Can we continue this another time? He's gonna be dead tomorrow. Let's be honest here. That's how it always goes. If you're like, oh, this very important information, you're gonna tell me this tomorrow. Okay, we have plenty of time, plenty of time. Next thing you know, tomorrow comes, he's dead.
You'd like to stay and have dinner with us?
Sure, if you don't mind.
That's what it is, right? Holy shit. Okay. If I'm thinking deeper into this, take the whole scene into consideration here. The child doesn't speak, right? Hasn't said anything. Okay, so that's a fact. Johan apparently led an uprising in the orphanage, which I'm guessing was he led the other children, he manipulated and convinced the other children to attack the caretakers of the orphanage. I don't know if that's what happened, but I'm guessing based on what he said. Now, if you notice, the second he said this, look who interrupted. The child. At the most crucial moment where he was like, okay, I guess there's no point in hiding it anymore. It's in the past. I might as well tell you. And right at the critical moment, the kid walks in. Huh. Coincidence? Maybe. What if it isn't? What if the kid works for Johan because they maybe were from the same orphanage or something along those lines? Or maybe Johan, I don't know, is, grooming the kid and like has the kid in his pocket or something, or maybe has the kid spying on the old man. Because let's be honest, if there's important information to be gained from this orphanage story, and Johan knows this, but he doesn't want to kill this guy because maybe this guy was, I don't know, maybe one of the good caretakers or maybe one of the good people, so he doesn't want to kill him, but he's still a loose end, so I'll keep someone to keep watch on him, right? Convinces the boy to watch over this guy. Maybe Johan even knows that Tenma is gonna come to this guy. So the kid just happens to coincidentally open the door during the best part, right? And he's like, almost like determined. If you look at his face, he's almost like determined. Like he's aware of what's going on. Interesting. Okay, maybe a coincidence. And now they're gonna say, oh, we have plenty of time tomorrow. If he ends up being dead, if this guy, not the kid, if this guy ends up dead tomorrow, I'm predicting that the kid is working for Johan. Because the only person who would have known that Tenma is here and this guy was about to talk is the kid. Maybe if that guy ends up dead, it's even the kid who killed him because he's working for Johan. We'll see. Maybe I'm reading way too deep into this, but
Dieter,
you know?
Maybe you'd like to stay and have dinner with us.
Sure, if you don't mind.
Mr. Tenma, you say that you're a freelance journalist. Does that mean you're going to write an article about the things we've been talking about?
Eventually.
When you do write your article, please be sure to emphasize this. The moral development of a child all depends on the adult that raises him. It is essential that we encourage every child to follow the proper path. If we do, they'll be able to achieve their dreams and have a happy life.
Dreams, huh?
Yeah, debatable.
Hey, Dieter, what are your dreams?
A soccer ball.
Huh?
I want a
Balls.
soccer ball.
I
Balls.
see.
He wants balls.
Thank you for dinner. I was hoping we could continue our conversation another time.
Of course. I am sorry we couldn't finish it up tonight, Mr. Tenma.
You could.
I'll be back. Perhaps I can come by tomorrow.
He's dead. 100%. He's dead. Either he's dead,
Well, Dieter.
or he's working for Johan. Oh, I see how it is. I see. Unless they're just doing some creepy music and some bad angles and stuff like that. But I'm guessing he was one of the, you know, the bad caretakers who did some dark shit, right? And he's masquerading as being like a very, very good person and stuff like that. Interesting. So did that just... What did they just imply what I think they just implied? Did they just imply what I think they just implied? I guess we'll see. Because I don't want to say what they implied, because YouTube, right? Like, next thing you know, I say the two words, the child, and then the other word, the R word, and then next thing you know, like, I'm blacklisted forever. I've heard some horror stories about people getting blacklisted and, you know, certain words being very no-no. And I think I can say one of those words in one sentence, but I can't say both of them right after the other.
Hey.
Balls.
Hello, I'm sorry. May I still make a purchase? Mr. Hartman?
Is this the same night or the next night? It's gotta be the same night, right?
It's me, Tenma. Mr. Hartman? Mr. Hartman! Mr. Hartman, what's wrong? Please, open up! Mr. Hartman,
Mr. Tenma.
Dieter! What happened to him?
He was playing. He was standing on a chair and he fell. Oh, my dear Dieter.
It hurts. Oh, it really hurts.
Where, Dieter? Where does it hurt?
I'm guessing as a doctor, he's probably gonna notice that the wound is inflicted. You know, it doesn't happen from falling off a chair, and then he's gonna start suspecting, and then so on and so forth.
Everywhere.
Mr. Hartman, call an ambulance, quick!
All right.
Dieter, let me take a look.
Yeah.
God. What are all these bruises? Does this hurt? What about here? 2 of your ribs are fractured. And also, your shoulder is dislocated. How did you get this injury from falling off a chair?
Exactly.
The
That's what I'm saying.
ambulance is on the way and should be here soon, so everything's going to be all right.
Good. But where'd these bruises come from?
I said everything's all right. You can leave now.
Come on,
Mr.
Tenma.
But...
Your
It's
hand's
obvious.
just now.
It's so
It was like
obvious.
you're examining him. It's as if you were a doctor.
well...
Tenma. I thought I heard that name somewhere before.
How many times have we heard that already in the last 2 episodes? They talk, they meet Tenma, and it's like, after something happens, then they're like, Tenma, I knew I heard that name somewhere before. You were in the news as a suspect in murders, weren't you? It's like, dude, are they seriously only remembering after things happen? Or are they keeping that information to themselves up until the correct moment?
You are a doctor, aren't you? The one wanted for murder.
He's not wanted for murder, actually. He's wanted for questioning. Big difference.
These bruises. Just how did he get these bruises all over his body, huh?
You shouldn't worry about the boy. You've got your own problems, don't you? The police are on their way along with the ambulance.
Mr. Hartman, what really happened to Dieter? How did he get all of these injuries?
What's it matter to you? I mean, you're the one who's wanted for murder, Doctor. You're very short-tempered. Just like a fugitive.
You did this to him, didn't you?
Did what? What did
I don't agree with Tenma pulling a gun here. That's not a good idea. Until he pulls a gun or some sort of weapon, do not pull your gun, ever. And if anything, if anyone sees you holding a gun, you're gonna make your case much worse. Even if you know for a fact that this guy is evil and you know, abusing children and whatnot, like, you can't pull the gun on him until you have full evidence, and even then, you are a civilian. There's not much you can do. Honestly, the most annoying things about situations like this is the fact that the children never speak up, and I hate that. Because, you know, I've seen stuff like this before. You know, one example that comes to mind is, I think it was in Higurashi, where basically the same thing was happening, where the adoptive parent is, like, abusing him, or maybe even the real parent is abusing him, the child, but the child refuses to say anything because they're afraid, right? And I kinda get it, but at the same time, I don't get it, because what could possibly happen if you're already getting beat up? You're already suffering insanely hard. You're already getting beat up on the regular. You're already suffering massively. How could it possibly get worse by you telling the police? Like, how could it possibly get worse? Even if there's no proof or something, and you're continuing to have to live with the abusive parent or whatnot, and you're, what are you gonna, what is he gonna do? Beat you up even more? You're already getting beat up, you know? It's kind of like the same idea of, like, when you're getting beat up by someone, you might as well hit back. That's why I also kind of, not to bring up the R word again, I guess we call it snuggle struggle, right? The rapee. The rapee. Let's go with the rapee, right? It's kind of the same thing with rapee, where you're already getting violated, so you might as well hit back, right? Like, you're already getting beaten up and violated, you might as well give as well as you're getting, okay? You might as well dish out just as hard as you're getting. Because, like, the idea of, like, I'm gonna be submissive, I'm not gonna hit back, I'm gonna be totally submissive and hope that they stop. That's not how it works, okay? If you don't fight back, that's like telling your aggressor that I can do whatever the fuck I want. If you fight back, 9 times out of 10, they don't want to get hurt themselves, so they'll stop. That's how bullies also work. if you hit back, they will mess with you less. Because they don't want to get hurt. To them, it's like a hassle to deal with you.
Dieter, all this time, aren't you?
Abusing? Why, I'd never do such a thing to an innocent child. Right, Dieter? Wait, what are you doing?
I'm taking Dieter to the hospital.
First murder and now kidnapping too?
Don't move.
The police will catch you eventually.
It's okay, Dieter. We'll be at the hospital soon.
I'm scared. I'm scared of the hospital.
There's nothing to be afraid of. The doctors will take good care of you.
But Mr. Harmon is always the one who took care of me every time I got hurt before.
What?
The world is full of bad things. That's why I have to become stronger. If I'm gonna fight all the bad things, I have to become stronger.
Is that what Hartman told you?
The world is dark. The future is bleak.
So what? He's like, wanna be training the boy where beating him up and then telling him, oh, you gotta grow stronger or something? Okay? Sure, bro.
That isn't true. The world's not a dark place. That's a lie.
Really?
Yes,
Really? Adults can lie?
Oh, I almost
Oh my
forgot.
god.
This soccer ball is for you.
Wow.
Though,
I'm sorry for
forgot his name. I didn't write it down, but, you know, the abuser of the child. He's not wrong. If he says that, hey, Tenma came in and kidnapped the kid, yeah. If the kid shows up in the hospital and they say that this guy brought him into the hospital, then that kind of, the kidnapping charge doesn't really hold weight. It's kind of like, let's say you're at a park with your child and your child gets hurt and someone takes your child and takes him to the hospital. But let's say you don't know where they're taking your child. Can you call kidnapping if they didn't kidnap your child? They just brought him to the hospital? Is it kidnapping? I don't think you can call kidnapping if they just took the child to the hospital. I think that's more like a, you know, friendly, good-natured thing to do to take someone to the hospital, especially a child if they are in need of medical care.
But the ER is pretty busy at the moment. It might end up being a while before we can treat him.
Can't you move him up at all?
There was a very big accident.
The bus
I'm
driver
sorry.
died instantly, so we need to ask the truck driver about the circumstances of the accident.
He broke both his legs, but he can still talk, can he?
We have to treat him first. You can question him after we're done.
All right, then we'll wait right here until he's ready.
I see. I'll be back in 2 hours.
What?
Please, just do what you can to take care of the boy. And whatever you do, please be sure not to let anyone else take him away. I will be coming back to get him. I owe you one.
But sir...
I mean, can he even do that? You know, say that don't let anyone come get him? Because, like, if the adoptive parent comes and is like, hey, here's my papers, I am the quote-unquote father of this child, I'd like to take him home, I don't think they can stop him.
Okay, what should I do now? First, what to do with Dieter? Even if I call the police, I can't go with him.
I don't know much about the girl, except that she was left at an orphanage in a different district.
A different orphanage. Wait, that's it?
There's a child that you want me to take in? Well, are you the child's parent? What are you doing coming here at this hour?
Yeah, I don't see how this can work. Technically, I think when it comes to the paperwork and like the official documentation, the child is under the guardianship of the guy, the abuser guy. So I don't think you can just randomly take a kid from their guardian and take him to another orphanage. You know, I somehow I don't think this is possible.
I'm sorry. I know it's a strange request, but this child needs you.
Look, I understand that the child is being abused, but if I don't know who you are, then how can I...
Well, I just...
I can't take in a child from a suspicious person who won't even identify himself.
Wait, did Anna Liebert live here with you at this orphanage by any chance?
Hold on a second. Are you saying that you know Anna Liebert?
That's right. So you do remember Anna?
Yes, of course I do. How is Anna? Is she doing well for herself?
Yes. She's currently taking classes at Heidelberg University.
Really? Then I guess she's doing very well. Anna was such a nice girl. I heard she was adopted by Mr. Liebert of the Commerce Ministry, along with her twin brother. Oh, dear. What was his name again?
Johan.
They were truly very close. I felt so sorry for them when they had to be separated, but they had to be placed in different orphanages. Before the two of them arrived here, they only had each other. They were truly alone in this world. They were found walking hand in hand near the border of Czechoslovakia. Just the two of them. At first, Mr. Liebert was only going to adopt Johan, but Johan wouldn't go anywhere without his sister. There was no separating them. Thankfully, Anna was able to live a happy life because of her brother.
I heard that the conditions in the orphanages in East Germany were pretty terrible.
Not all orphanages were like 511 Kinderheim.
Huh?
The orphanages of the East Side were truly horrible places for the children to grow up in. Everything was so impersonal. Even this place was only known by the number 47. You'd better believe we did everything we could do within our power so that we wouldn't be controlled by the government. We weren't going to be another 511 Kinderheim. It was a special orphanage controlled by the Ministry of Welfare and the Ministry of the Interior. Do you know what that means?
No.
The reality was, it was the Ministry of the Interior's pet project. East Germany was using that place for experimentation on the children.
Yeah, I mean, I could... Okay, I'm gonna let it run. I'm pretty sure it's the end, yeah. Okay, yeah, so I can see that. I fully can see that. Especially, you know, during those times, those years. I can totally see that. Children of criminals and, like, you know, orphans who have no other family and no one will miss them, no one knows of them. This orphanage, Kinderheim, 511 Kinderheim, being like a house for experimentation by the government on children. I mean, I can fully see this. I mean, I already talked about the fact that the child is so, I guess, manipulated that they're so afraid to tell on their abusers, but come on. I hate that type of shit. Look, I'm telling you right now, if someone in your life is being abusive or like, and I don't mean like emotionally, I'm talking physically here, physically violent against you, and you are in a bad situation where you are getting beat up every so often and you are afraid of this person with your life, I'm telling you, go to the police, go to someone, anyone, or fight back. One or the other. If you can't contact anyone, fight back. If you're truly afraid for your life, like they threaten to kill you, then go to the police. And considering the child can just go outside, he's just outside, which means he's not like trapped in the apartment or anything. He can just go to the police, straight up. Because what are they gonna do? Punch you a little bit harder? Like, come on. You're already getting your ribs broken. I mean, I'm just saying, try to break some ribs in return. I mean, yeah, this guy, beyond the fact that he is, you know, probably a child rapiste, right? And beats up children, he did say something interesting, which is the incident. Apparently Johan, like, mounted some sort of revolt, which we never got any more information on, but it sounds definitely very, very interesting. I will say, again, I don't see how Tenma can bring this kid into this other orphanage. In cases like these, you have to prove that the boy is getting abused by the parent, but I don't know, maybe things were different back then in Germany, you know, who knows. But yeah, I guess in next episode we'll see what will happen with this kid. My theory of the kid working for Johan was completely out of left field and completely wrong, but you know, I love coming up with theories like that. In any case, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you'll join me for episode 12 next time. Later.